Okay, guys, welcome. Welcome to the first module of this course, which is PCI DSS, an overview of the standard. So first of all, I want to teach you what PCI DSS is, right? We don't want to jump into implementing the PCI DSS standards and the requirements, right? You need to understand what PCI DSS is, how it works, what's the point of this standard, right? We have already have so many standards. Why one more? Okay, so let's learn about PCI DSS from the ground up. I would recommend taking this module even if you have like experience of implementing PCI DSS before, because you'll get a good overview and a history of the standard. And so I'm going to teach you how the standard is structured and some of the common mistakes I have seen people make in around like 10 years of implementing PCI DSS. Okay. First of all, the PCI DSS standard. Okay. It was established in 2006, right, by the major card brands, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discovery, JCB, all of them. Why did they do it? Okay, simply put, historically what used to happen is all of these card schemes, they had their own standards, they had their own programs for compliance. So let's say you are a merchant, right? You want to accept Visa cards. Okay, Visa had their own standard you had to comply with before you could do it. Then MasterCard had their own, if you want to accept MasterCard. And simply with again with American Express, again with JCB. So you can understand this became a big issue for merchants and service providers, the amount of time and money to implement their different standards. Okay, so what happened was all of these standards, they came together. Okay, and they're going to establish a common standard. So and this standard is going to be applicable for people who are like involved in the payment industry. It eliminated the need for complying with each brand's separate requirements. Okay, so and this is how it's, if you're like storing, processing, transmitting this data, you are required to implement this standard to protect it based on thousands and thousands of investigations of like merchants who have been breached. What was confirmed was that if they had implemented this standard properly, okay, they have implemented this standard properly, it would greatly reduce the risk of them getting like attacked or like compromised. Okay, so the standard is very useful. Does it make you 100% secure? No, absolutely not, but it is a very good starting step. Okay, so and who is it applicable to? Basically, remember this: storing, processing, or transmitting. So any business that stores, processes, or transmits payment card data, you are required to implement the standard to prevent cardholder data. Okay, you can be a merchant, you can be a service provider, you can be a bank, you can be a call center, you can be a technology company. It doesn't matter. If you are doing these three things, either of the three things, you will come into scope. How much you have to implement, that is where the difference happens. But rest assured, you will come into the scope. Okay, so and why? Okay, you might ask why. Okay, I'm already secure, I have like implemented controls and all that, etc. Why do I need to do this standard? Okay, so what's the need for the standard? Simply put, like based on like the old saying that criminals go where the money is. Okay, so the same in a digital age, merchants, service providers, they have become the new target for like fraudulent activity. Okay, so it might be your cash register, it might be your point of sale, it might be your shopping cart, it might be your Wi-Fi network, it might be your the PCs or the workstations that you have. Okay, it's become a serious problem because attackers know that even one of these things I can compromise, I might get access to this data. Okay, and I might be able to commit fraud with this. So that's why it's so critical to understand. And these vulnerabilities, they can happen anywhere in the card processing ecosystem. Like I said, it might happen in mobile devices, point of sales, wireless hotspots, web shopping applications. It might be transmitted, and it might not be in your environment. It might be in a service provider. It might be in your cloud environment. Okay, so that's why the PCI DSS comes in and really helps you to secure this environment. Really makes you understand what I have to do, what don't I have to do, what are the due diligence activities I have to implement. Okay, so definitely there is absolutely zero disadvantage in implementing this standard. Okay, that's why any company who is processing and involved in payment transactions, I always recommend to implement the PCI DSS standard. Okay, so the timeline from the standard has come a long way, honestly, and why it has been revised so much, because it is a living document. It has evolved to keep up with the state of e-commerce and more sophisticated cyber threats, and honestly how technology is evolving. 10-15 years ago, the cloud wasn't that important. Okay, smartphone transactions weren't happening that much. They were happening, but not that much. Okay, attacks were different. You didn't have like containers and cloud and serverless. So all of these things have come up. That's why the standard keeps changing. You don't need to memorize the history, and this is just for your reference. But So just to know that it has gone through various iterations to keep up to date with technologies. In 2022, the version 4.0 was released. Okay, and just to make you understand, in 2022, it has come up, right, and it has expanded upon MFA, multi-factor authentication, other roles and responsibilities, and by March 2025, the new requirements will officially become effective. Some optional requirements. Okay, these are based on projections by the PCI Security Standards Council, the body who maintains the standard. They may be subject to change, but this is the timeline. So that's why I keep recommending that, guys, if you are in scope for PCI, then start looking at the 4.0 requirements today. Don't put it off. Okay. Okay. So this was a basic overview of the standard. In the next module, I'm going to go over the basic architecture, how the standard is structured. Okay, how it works and how it's structured. Okay. So thank you, guys, and I will see you in the next module.
Bad times are coming and I reap what I done sowed. Hey, hey. Well, let me tell you